Black Gay Table Talk brings you Marriage Sessions with Keenan and Dominic. With almost 20 years together, Dominic and Keenan work to bring light to what has them still going strong. Open your minds to new outlooks on companionship, trust, and loyalty.
Destiny sometimes packages your heart's desires in ways you can't fully comprehend. Coast down memory lane with all the laughs, tears, and triumphs worth celebrating.
And this is our love story.
Let's share.
Thanks for joining another episode of Marriage Sessions brought to you by Black Gay Table Talk. And for today's episode, Rebellion and Reassessing. So reassessment.
Yeah, the rebellion and the reassessment phases.
Yeah. You know, I don't rebel. I'm a good boy.
Well, you know what? Just for our viewers, maybe just kind of read what it means.
Okay.
So it says that the first couple of stages in your marriage are when you compromise, you learn to deal with each other's quirks, even though there are a few struggles along the way. But in stage 3, which is the rebellion stage, you see the differences and they really come out.
True.
Okay.
All right. So what comes to mind? Like, what could we share about our journey that might help someone else?
Gotcha. Going through the rebellion phase. So,
Wait, does it ever stop?
You know what? I don't think it does. You know what? Something I did read. It does say that these stages are cyclical. I'm like, you know what? That makes sense.
It does.
Because it doesn't just go straight. You may come back to stages because, again, there's major, what we call life changes that happen within a relationship, which can cause maybe us to go back. For example, you know, a move, purchase of a new house, a child coming into the picture. So those big life events can then cause some stages to maybe become cyclical. So speaking specifically to this one, though, as far as the rebellion stage, who do you think is more rebellious? You think
you? Definitely you. I feel like you just rebelled this morning.
Okay. Why though? Like, why do you feel that I'm more rebellious? I won't say I feel that you're more rebellious, but I do feel that you don't budge much, which in some sense is being rebellious, right?
When you say
you don't budge.
Okay, give me an example.
Oh Lord, you know my memory is not the best. What I mean by that is there's some things, I can't think of an example, but there's some things where, you know, it has to happen that way for you, or it's just not gonna happen. And I just usually give in because you're not gonna budge. I feel that that's in some sense you being rebellious. I just can't think of an example, but I promise you, if it comes to me, I will definitely say something. It may be in the middle of this, but I'm gonna say something. But yeah, I don't think you're more rebellious. That kind of goes back to the fact that I just do believe that you sometimes don't budge much, and I kind of compromise more, I feel.
You know what? I'll say this. If it's something that I know is going to help us or get us to that next level, or really, you know, if I know it's beneficial, then I'm not budging. Like, we have to follow through. I don't know. I think for me, the reason why I say I think you're more rebellious is because, I don't know, like simple things. It's not, I'll say this. You have the attitude of, well, I'm not going to do it now. I'll do it when I want to do it, when he knows I want him to do it now. So I think that's kind of rebellious in a sense. But mostly you only give me strife when it's like big project type things. Like, oh, I want to redo this, or I want to build that. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah.
Because I know the workload is going to be a lot. And I'm thinking, man, we already got a huge workload.
I mean,
you about to put this extra workload on me? So it does tend to become a bit like,
on HGTV, everything takes 30 minutes.
I will say this though, we are actually one generation apart, but I will say this though, his generation believe in this instantaneous, you know, microwave type, like things should happen, you know, quick. Because I will admit, it's so funny. There are so many instances I can think of where Keenan's like, you know, it'll just take a few hours, or it'll just take 2 days, just 2 days.
Yeah, that's all.
man, we working on this thing 7 days, still trying to go through. And the reason is because, with any project, things come about that you
Well,
don't
that is
expect.
true.
And it's like, oh my God. So,
But
but
you know
yes.
what? My thing is, I'll say this. If we started, whatever issues we come across or
hmm
whatever hurdles there are,
hmm
we can navigate them at that time. But starting is always the hardest
That
part.
is so true.
So
I agree
my
with
thing
you.
is, let's go ahead and start so that we're not waiting until and then finally we say, oh, well, I wish we had it,
That's true.
you know?
That's true.
Um,
But yeah.
but you tried it though. You
But
tried it.
but tying back to rebellion, just kind of maybe going back to even our, I guess, driving.
Oh my
You
gosh,
want to share?
I cannot stand his driving, y'all. And
Ain't that bad, y'all. I know what we're talking about.
he will drive his worst driving simply because he knows that I'm having moments over here with my imaginary brakes and handles and things.
Okay.
You,
Okay.
you can't say nothing because you know that you do it.
No, I don't. I don't purposely drive crazy or whatever that looks like for you, just because maybe you're in the car. I feel that you're gonna. Now, I will admit there are times where I can see in my peripheral, this man over there probably he think he on a roller coaster, and we are literally just gracefully driving down the interstate, but he
Gracefully,
looked like
no.
he on a roller
Mm-mm.
coaster ride. So I will admit there are times where I may do stuff because I'm like he's over there really in this tense
Because I be scared,
mood, and I'm
y'all. I be
like,
scared. I be scared. But
mm,
the funny thing, though, is even though I'm scared, I know you got it, but it's just
mhm,
like, I don't
the
know. It's,
process.
yeah,
The process.
yeah,
Our processes are different. I will admit that I can say that's probably our biggest times that we probably do rebel or fight is the process.
yeah, process.
And it can be
And thinking of driving, no, can you slow down? Please, can you just slow down?
mhm.
Well, I got to slow down. I'm driving. I got this.
Just be a
It's
passenger.
like, no, like, okay, babe, I got you.
You're
I'll slow
right.
down a
I
bit.
could.
Like,
I could
let's
say
take our
that.
time.
You're right. But I do. I just thought about it. It just came to me. I think our processes. I think we'll get to the place or point
True,
A or point B. We'll get there. But how we get there, I think that's where the rebellion tends to happen.
true.
And then that's where I tend to just compromise.
Well, and it's because you think you're right all the time.
No, think. The operative word in it was think. But
Right,
go
but
ahead.
I know I'm right. So,
Okay. Alrighty.
so like, let's just do what I'm saying so we can get through this process quicker.
Gotcha. You know what? I don't know if you all realize our backdrop is a whole lot different tonight too. Now I will say this.
Yeah.
I do love the fact that we are outside. Now could we have done it inside? We sure could have. But that was me kind of compromising to the fact that, you know what? Oh, the lighting. I was just thinking about all these things and I'm like, you know what? Let's just try it and see what happens.
Yeah.
So there are times where I roll with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
hmm
Nothing beats a fail but a try.
Yes.
When you think back, right? So
hmm
think back to like your relationships before.
hmm
Do you remember feeling the need to rebel in those relationships? And why?
I've
If you
really
did.
only had one, I guess, relationship prior to you. And I want to say near the end, yes. Only because I think what started to happen near the end was a lack of trust.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's where I did started to rebel more, question more,
Mm-hmm.
just the trust piece near the end is where I think I tend to start to rebel more because I feel that something's not right, but I guess I didn't know what it was. Again, being still young, I was younger than 24 because we met at 24. So
Well, you were 24.
at the time, right?
I
No, but
was
I'm saying I
18
was
going on
younger
19.
in that relationship. So again,
Yeah.
still, it was just being in one was new to me, and not new, but the first time. But yeah, I feel that I think there was a lot of it near the end. But in the beginning, you know why it wasn't many in the beginning because that was like really my first time, I guess, coming out and being myself and being gay. But he had actually been out way sooner than I did. And so I kind of latched on to the sense of learning because I didn't really know the gay life like he did. So I think in the beginning, I was more so just kind of going through the motion and going through it because I was learning in the process. But I think, again, with experience, you become more wise. And then I started to see things a little different. So,
Got it.
yeah. So I think in the beginning, no, but definitely near the end. What about
Yeah.
yourself?
You know what? I think so, and mind you, if you followed our story, right, I kind of grew up in a relationship.
Yeah.
My first relationship, I was 14, and it ended when I was, 18. And then I
Was it off
had,
and on though, or was
no,
it
it
solid?
was,
Oh,
it
it
was
was?
solid.
Okay.
And then after that, um, I had about a year that I was trying to get to know myself and date or whatever have you.
Mm-hmm.
And in that year, I dated someone else,
Mm-hmm.
and then you came. So I don't think, but thinking back, I can't think of. Okay, I do have a rebellious spirit on me,
You do.
but it's never in a bad way. It's never in a bad way. I rebel for the greater cause.
All right. Okay. I like that.
But
That was really, I like the way you said that. Okay.
yes,
I
I
get it.
don't know. Like I can visualize a lot of times where we're gonna be if you know what I'm saying. Like
Mm-hmm.
if it's myself and someone else, like I can visualize it and I can see what will get us there.
Mm-hmm.
And I know now that my vision isn't the only vision, but
Mm-hmm.
I I rebel for the greater cause.
Okay.
I don't know. Like I rebel
I
for
mean,
honesty. I rebel for trust. I rebel for growth, for honor, for integrity, like stuff like
development.
that.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
get it. I like the way you said that.
Uh-huh.
Because I never thought about it in that way.
Yeah.
Um,
Like even with you, I rebel for a greater cause.
yes, you do. Yes, you do, man.
Is this you agreeing?
Yes, I am. But I mean, it's truth of what you just said, though. So
Okay. Don't be shady.
no, I'm not. But you know what? Speaking about rebellious, I just thought about something.
Mhm.
So, question for you: do you feel that I guess roles play a part in rebelling in the
Yeah.
relationship? Okay,
Yeah.
speak on that for me.
And when you say roles, you mean
Meaning,
like
if
top, bottom?
yes, or even just any relationship, usually there's roles that's being played. For example, top, bottom. Maybe the more dominant, say stud or the what they call lipstick.
Yeah.
Just yeah. Just
So
do you think roles play a part?
I think sometimes they can.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes they can. Um, but I really think it depends on the personality. But sticking to your question, sometimes roles can play a part. But to me, the ones that typically rebel most are the tops.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know. Oh, that sounds so bad. I'm not knocking my tops. We love y'all. Yeah, slang and do your thing. But I would say so because most times, if you look at it from a top bottom perspective,
Mm-hmm.
your bottoms are taking more of the women roles or
Mm-hmm.
woman roles if you want to dissect it.
Mm-hmm.
And then tops, of course, the man. So you got the man and the woman. Everybody always asks that question.
Mm-hmm.
Are you the man in the relationship? Are you the woman?
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so thinking in that traditional mindset, I would say the tops because the bottoms typically take on that role of running the house, running this, making sure, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
That, you know, that glue.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I got a little carried away. But
Okay.
yeah.
I
And I
can
think they don't want to be run,
mm-hmm.
so to speak, or they're very afraid sometimes that they're not going to run it. But
You
then
mean the tops? When you
yeah.
said, okay, gotcha.
But then you have those that those bottoms that let them operate and be them and, go out with his boys, hang out, come back, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it depends on the person in my most honest response.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, I was thinking that I do feel that the roles can definitely play a part in the rebellious, but also too, because sometimes in those roles, then you, let's say, put money in it too. For example, let's just say the top is the one that is maybe the breadwinner to some degree. You want to put it in that particular sense. If they're the
Okay.
one that's maybe making most of the money, then I can see where that bottom may be a bit more submissive to what the top is saying. So the top may be a bit rebellious when maybe they're trying to assert, their thoughts, opinions, suggestions, or whatever that may look like. So,
Yeah.
so yeah, you're right. I think it does depend on the person, because then there's some tops too that, how I've heard where someone that's very, I guess, dominant in their real life, like, and also in real life, in the outside, at
Hmm.
work or whatever, and at home they're tired of being that role. They want to be submissive, so
Yeah.
because they tired of running shit, in the day, but at home they can be, a
True.
bit more. I'm gonna let you do it. I'm just follow because they've been doing that leading all day too. So
True.
you're right. I think it does depend on the person. I
So let me
agree.
ask you this. Do you feel that the person that you're in the relationship, and I'll ask the viewers this too, do you feel that the person that you're in the relationship with gets the better of you compared to people that you meet out in the world that you're not as closely tied to?
Oh my god, that's a huge question.
I know.
I think we all wear what they call mask,
Yeah.
and I do feel that I think I've heard the saying too that sometimes you do hurt the ones you love more. And I want to say I think it's just partly due to the fact that maybe they are family, or maybe they're easier. I don't know. I can't think of the thoughts behind it, but I can see where you're coming from, and I can say that I do think some people do tend to treat others maybe better than the ones that they do love, and I think that may be true.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Um, I think so.
now,
I
is it
think
fair? The answer is no.
no, it's not.
Mm.
It's not. Um, but it's something to think about though,
Hmm.
Like I show up my best for people that I interact with in the world or
Hmm.
at work or friends or what have you.
Hmm.
But when I get home, it's like, am I shitty to the person that I'm at home
Hmm.
with?
Hmm.
And of
Hmm.
course you should be able to take off all your masks with that person
That
that
is
you're in
true.
the relationship with. But are they getting are they getting the best of you?
That's
You
right.
know what I'm
That's
saying?
right. You're right. Wow.
Interesting.
Deep question. That could be, I think, a whole episode next time or something.
Really?
I think so.
It could be.
Yeah. Moving on to the next stage.
Yes, sir.
All right. So the next stage is the reassessment phase. So once you overcome the previous stage, which is rebellion, you start to realize that the relationship is definitely worth saving. You reassess where you are in your marriage relationship at this time or at this point. By taking time to reflect, you begin to develop gratitude for what you have built together.
I'm reassessing now.
Oh, you are?
No, I'm sorry.
I think it's true. I mean, and I will say this too. I think part of the reassessment phase is it can be your thought saying, do I really want to start over with someone else? Because I have built, I guess, because usually the honeymoon phase, they say, is about what, 1 to 2 years, right?
Right.
And then you go into the rebellion, which is the third, I'm sorry, not rebellion, realization, and then rebellion.
Hmm.
So you're looking at maybe at minimum 3 years, possibly. And
Yeah.
so, again, time is so valuable. So I think one of your thoughts are going to be, do I want to start this over with someone else? Or I've put in, I guess, the work and I really love this person. Let me stay and work things out and make it right. And
Almost
I
like you're
think
realizing that the relationship is worth saving
there
or
you go.
worth
Exactly.
putting more work into.
There you go. So I think that's one of the questions that can drive whether or not, you stay or whether you leave. I think that's
True.
one.
I would have to say, well, once for me, it was once we actually got married.
Okay.
Yeah.
Reassessment, you mean, or?
Yeah, like I went through that reassessment phase before we actually got married.
Okay.
Like, um, As a matter of fact, I think we had a whole conversation around this,
Yeah, we
and
did.
we were like, "Well, what's next for
Mhm.
us? What's the next step? Like, do
We
you want
did.
to do this?"
Yep.
Um, because we knew that the law was about to be passed for,
The civil
for
union at the time.
yeah,
Yeah.
the civil unions at the time. So, um, we knew at a federal level, at least, we'd be entitled to, you know,
hmm
joining into the civil union. But
hmm
yeah, I would say for me that was it, because and even just thinking about that day, um, seeing you and seeing your face tremble as we went through our vows and stuff, like
My face trembled.
I
Oh
think
wow.
so it did, because I think I saw in that moment you realizing what I was realizing. So I don't
hmm
know, it was amazing.
Yeah, I
But
think just hearing those words sometimes and thinking, "Wow, I'm making this choice to do this with this person," it
yeah,
can be a lot. Yeah.
yeah, but leading up to we had been together for some years.
hmm
We'd hell
Went through some life
established,
changes too. I mean, the move was a huge one. Yeah.
yeah, we'd experienced deaths
hmm
together,
hmm
mourning together.
Yeah.
A lot of life changes had happened
Life events. Yeah.
that we navigated together. So all of that, I think, was a part of the reassessment
hmm
phase for me.
hmm
Like, I thought about everything that I had experienced with you and came to, I don't know, came to say, okay, well, let's keep going. Like,
Yeah.
let's see what else we can do.
Right. Okay.
What about you? When do you think you went through that phase?
So for me, the reassessment, I want to say probably for me came around the same time
Hmm.
because we had a very intense discussion around, well, you specifically, because I think I I wasn't in the mindset of marriage at the time. I really wasn't. And I think it's because me being who I was, there were certain things I guess I wanted to be in place prior to us doing it. And maybe because it wasn't there, I was like, no, let's wait. But I think after that discussion with you, there's really, I guess, no perfect time to really do a lot of things, as people say, you know? So I'm like, you know what? I reassessed, as he said, and like, yep, I definitely want to be with him. I can see myself with him. We've been through so many life events. I I do feel that me putting in the needed work to make this work would be basically in our best benefit. And so I definitely want to say that around that same time, I probably gained that reassessment and realization that this can work. This is worth it. This is worth it.
Worth you putting in the extra work
Work and keeping this relationship moving forward in the best direction.
hmm So, have you experienced that reassessment phase again since we've learned that it is cyclical?
You are correct. The answer is yes. I think around the time we bought our first house.
Really? Yeah, I
Yep,
did too. I did
that
too.
wasn't because again, that's a very huge purchase for anyone to do.
True.
And that purchase itself was like, if I'm willing to go into this with him, both the names on the title, yes, I'm willing to put in the work and put in all the needed work needed to make this work because this is an investment for both of us, the family we plan to, grow, all that other stuff. And I will admit, I was excited. Again, I wasn't rebelling at the time, so I was purchasing a house. But I think what it is, I will admit, I love, I guess because again, you do think through a lot, and again, you're more creative in your thoughts too. But again, I
Oh.
guess I was thinking a bit more like, oh my God, it's a house, mortgage, who gonna do this? Because we were renting,
Hmm.
and I guess you gave me the confidence to be like, it's gonna happen, we can do it, blah blah blah. You were doing that for me,
Yeah.
and that did help. So yeah, I when we got the house, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna make this work. I think it's really worth it. Again, going through the reassessment phase again.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So, I guess my message would be to embrace the changes that you go through in the relationship again. And we probably said this before, but going through those changes gives the relationship strength. It in essence creates the roots for the relationship. So and if you're dating or looking for someone, or if you're in the relationship now, take these moments and take them for what they are. Of course, reflect on them, but in that reflection, look at the character that it's building for the relationship. I would say that you don't know what or when the next phase or next step will happen, but if you have that same common goal again of making it, and that's making it to the next level, making it work, making it happen, whatever it may be, as long as you have that same common goal, anything is possible.
That is so true. That is so true.
Yeah.
That's so true. I think me reading today that the stages are cyclical really, I think, did something for me, because I totally agree with that. And like I said, if you do want something to work and you're willing to put the work in to make that happen, then you can make the relationship what you want it.
What's the most rebellious thing that you can think of that I did?
Oh, yes, thing. It probably the only thing. Literally, the only thing I think yeah, my accent just came out. Only thing I can think of, like off the top of my head, would be maybe getting a credit card and telling me later. Like, I can't think of anything that you just was like, you went straight against what I was wanting to happen.
Right.
And because there have been times where you will do it, and I'll just be like, okay, well, we'll just move through it, or we'll just get through it, whatever that looks like. I'll just, roll with it, I guess what I'm trying to say. So I really, because there have been times where I can think you've gotten a credit card without letting me know. I did it one time too, but it was for our benefit. It was for our benefit. So I really can't think of anything that you just was like straight up rebellious about. I can't think of anything except that.
Aw, that's good for you. My turn.
Go ahead.
Oh my gosh. Watching our shows without me.
Okay.
Watching our shows without me. Oh my gosh. I mean,
because I'm so great at compromising and following through on what it is that we discuss. I mean, you're right. There isn't much out there, huh?
I mean, you are right.
But no. But going back to the show, since you brought it up, we'll start a show. I don't know, just maybe it could be my OCD or my ADD or whatever that may be. But this man will start a show or even a movie, and we'll be like maybe 15 minutes from the end, and he wants to end it or turn it off. No, I can't, because I'm gonna be thinking all night or whatever that looks like on what. I mean, we only have 15 minutes.
But we can stay up back to it. That 15 minutes. That's time you gotta, let your mind unwind.
No, but I'm thinking about it.
Get into sleep mode.
I'm like, it's just 15 minutes. Come on, man, let's finish this. Or we'll start a show, and then I want to go back and watch it because, again, I'm excited about the show. No, not tonight. I don't feel like going to sleep, watching it. I don't want to go to sleep thinking about that show. Let's find something, something short and quick and funny.
Yeah, something short that we can watch real quick and funny. But here's
what normally happens. We never come back to it. And sometimes I'll purposely don't say anything, thinking maybe he'll remember. It'll be a good week. And if I say something, oh, no, you're not tonight. I don't feel like I am. My mind right tonight. Because I will admit, most of the shows we do watch, though, are very intense, suspense. But I like those kind of, or sci-fi. We love a lot of sci-fi too.
But here's the thing. You have to, the moods have to match, right? So if you're in the mood for like something funny or whatever, I don't want to watch nothing where they looking for the missing person. Like,
But
Or
I'm excited because I wonder if they're gonna find them. So
but you can watch anything. Literally,
that is
it
so
could be
true.
a show of someone plucking or cutting the grass with tweezers, and he's going to watch like it's the Soul Train Music Awards, like,
Uh-uh.
and just be excited. You can
I
watch
don't think there's
anything.
bad. That's true. I don't think there's bad TV because because especially I think for me what it is when I start something, I need to finish it, and I think that's what it is. And it's
Really?
just, yeah.
Well, let's finish working on the basement.
Well, we'll get there eventually. I started it, but
Eventually.
that's a lot. That's a lot. It's a lot. Just him saying that, I just thought about the work that has to be done, and I've just got anxiety.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. All right, y'all. Well, thanks for joining us again. We are so thankful that you take time to watch us and follow our story. If you have not already, stop by www.blackgaytabletalk.com where you can take a look at other episodes. You can sign up for a premium membership where you get access to exclusive content. And you have the opportunity to stop by our store. You can get your retail therapy on.
Yes.
But again, that's www.blackgaytabletalk.com. See you soon.
Bye.